All right, the story of the Gerasene demoniac in Luke is a story that is decisively shaped by Jewish norms. That becomes apparent in the description of Gerasa, which is on the opposite side. It is opposite Galilee. That is, the implication is it's on the other side, therefore, in some sense, the enemy. It is the place of demons and uncleanness. The pigs rush down the hill and are drowned in the sea. This is clearly not a Gentile norm of victory, but this is a Jewish victory over unclean animals. And so Jesus here wins a victory that would be valued as a victory by Jews. Another sign is the name of the demon, which is Legion. So the Romans are represented in this story by the demons, that is, the Roman legion. So these are all allusions to ancient Jewish norms that are present in this story. The telling of this story is delightful. And so this is an adventure for a storyteller. It begins with the setting of the scene. They arrived at the country of the Gerasenes, opposite Galilee. As he stepped out on land, a man of the city who had demons met him. And then there's an explanation of the man with demons. For a long time, he had worn no clothes. And he didn't live in a house, but he lived in the tombs, in the cemeteries. So he literally lived among the dead. And when he saw Jesus, he fell down before him and shouted at the top of his voice. This is a description of how you are to tell the story. So it's the loudest you can be. What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Man? And I'm not doing it as loud as I could because I'm making the recording. I'll blow the mic. So the cry of the demoniac is at top volume. It's as loud as you can make it. And then there is, by contrast, the explanation of this to the audience by the storyteller. Jesus had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man, and many times it had seized him. He was kept under guard, bound with chains and shackles, but he'd break the bonds and be driven by the demon into the wilds. So this is all inside information from the storyteller to the audience. And it's a big contrast in volume. Jesus asks his name. If you know the name of a demon, you can dominate it. And so this reflects ancient myths in regard to evil spirits. But the name of the powers of evil in this story is not mythological at all. It is the legions of Rome. And so this is code for Jewish audiences. The legion is named by the powers of evil for many demons that entered him, and that's the storyteller's explanation to the audience once more. So there was a large herd of swine feeding on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them enter the pigs, so he had mercy on them and gave them permission. Now, another thing that I did not mention, but I need to step back, is that the demons begged him not to order them to go back into the abyss. The ancient mythology about the demons was that they came up out of the abyss, out of hell, and tortured people, but they didn't want to go back into the abyss. So Jesus is merciful to them and allows them to enter this large herd of swine. So the demons came out of the man, entered the swine, and the whole herd rushed down the steep hill and was drowned in the sea. Now, the implication of this picture is that they may have not been sent back into the abyss, but they were sent back into where demons belong, that is, in the waters under the earth, where the powers of chaos live and are in control. So this also reflects ancient mythology. So Jesus then wins a victory for the people of Israel. This is, in the story, a whoopee. So the demons came out of the man, they entered the swine, the herd rushed down the hill, and they were drowned in the lake. So this is not a story for Midwestern pig farmers. This is a story for ancient Jews. Now, the end of the story is then the response of the people, which also reflects Jewish norms. The man is in his right mind, but they don't care about the man. They don't even care about the pigs, apparently. They're just afraid of Jesus and ask him to go back to his own country. And so Jesus gets in the boat to go back. The man wants to go with him, and Jesus refuses but appoints him as an evangelist among the Gentiles. That is, he has him go back home and tell about what God has done for him. And the man goes back and he tells what Jesus had done for him. This is Luke's way of also implying that the man recognized who Jesus was. That is, that he was God and that he had control over the powers of evil. Now, one of the things that happens in the hearing of this story is that sometimes people get overly sympathetic with the pigs. And it really is important for the purposes of this story to recognize the ancient Jewish norm that pigs were unclean animals. So, because the impact of this story is that Jesus here wins a battle over the powers of evil, and no one is killed. That is, the people all are given life. And that is clearly the norm of this ancient story. Now, the telling of this story is then a highly dramatic story of a man being set free from demons that had possessed him, of Jesus restoring him to his right mind. And he is a Gentile. And so Jesus' initial venture into Gentile territory is then his healing of this man, this Gentile, and saving him from domination by the powers of evil. It is a profoundly significant act of compassion on Jesus' part.